All right, Facebook Live, this is Randy. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me on this training here. I actually was putting some posts in each one of the groups, letting you guys know that you can download the sheet REI AutoComp for free. So instead of posting in the DMs, I just really got overwhelmed. So I'm just going to go live. It's so much easier to just go live and show you guys the sheet and bring your deals over. So I'll let some people pile in. I'll mute my mic here for a second, and I'll go ahead and show this to you guys. So this is the spreadsheet. You can go get a copy of it on the website. The link is right here. It is reiautocomp.com. A lot of you by this moment might have heard of it. I've been using this for about 5 years, and I just created it out of frustration, really. I got tired of chasing down realtors and, you know, not getting the data that I needed to make a decision on a property. So, I ended up taking a simple spreadsheet, noticed I was doing the same thing over and over, and eventually just said, you know what, I'm going to hire an engineer. And I did exactly that. I went on one of those sites where you can get a freelancer and told them what I wanted to be done. And I just said, hey, look, there's an Excel spreadsheet. I'm doing the same analysis every single time, and I would like you to, spruce up the sheet a bit. So I cut him a check, and he was able to, make the sheet do what I wanted it to do. So it's been online for many, many years, and you can go get a copy of it right now. Just go download it for free. If you do end up buying it, there's a Black Friday special. I normally charge $10 a month to as much as $30 a month, very affordable. But I still, every once in a while, will give a lifetime membership and discount it down from several $100s down to just a one-time payment. And this is no difference. This weekend, guys, you can get this exact sheet I'm about to show you for $67. So otherwise, use the free trial. If you love it, great. If you don't, hey, that's great too. There's actually no competitors. If you don't already know about me, by the way, you can check out the REIRockstar.com. That's the blog I have where I teach people real estate investing and things like that. And there's a bunch of free stuff you can get. Awesome stuff, like not just a free contract. Like I have a folder system where you can download it and keep track of all the things you download online. I know you guys get a lot of stuff where you have free spreadsheets and all this sort of stuff. So I actually created a folder system called REI Workflow, and I released it to the public about 2 weeks ago, and everybody loves it. So I've heard a lot of good things and just thank yous about it. So let's see if some folks are piling in here. If you guys can hear me, definitely share this link. By the way, go ahead and share it. This is being shown live on the REI AutoComp site. If you go here, should be here, and bam, right there. So you can share that by just clicking share and send it on out. And I want to get as many people as possible in here so I can show you guys this sheet is just absolutely amazing. So if you can hear me good, go ahead and go over, shoot me a yes in the chat. And if you have a address that you'd like me to analyze, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll go ahead and analyze it. So this is the actual sheet, guys. It's pretty simple. All it's going to do, and it does the same thing every single time, is it takes comps, comparable sales that come offline, and places them into the sheet. And then it applies an algorithm that tells you which property is the most like yours. Now, let me share with you some common things, some myths, right, that I'm just going to just bust out of the way, because there's a lot of myths that people hear about analysis and comps and Zillow and things like that that aren't true at all. And it's probably never going to go away. But I want to address those things really quickly. Number one is that, a lot of times as you guys go on Facebook and Instagram and you're talking in groups and talking to other investors, whether online, digitally, or offline, you'll hear people say and make jokes about Zillow and all that and the Zestimate. And they'll sort of openly say, Zillow's inaccurate and all that sort of stuff. And realtors and real estate professionals will also, downgrade and sort of degrade Zillow and all that. And I get it. Their data is not guaranteed. And for good reason, they have a legal disclosure on their website. One of those is, in fact, the Zestimate. And it talks about how, their Zestimate is only, percentage of the time correct X amount of the time, right? So you might as well say, I'm 50% of the time, I'm correct 50% of the time, right? So I get that. So what this sheet does is it doesn't do exactly that. It does its own version of it. So one of the things you can think about with Zillow is it does provide comps anywhere from 5 to 25 comparable sales according to their TOS rules, their terms of service, and you can get those raw comps and come up with your own ARV. And so the reason I created this sheet was I noticed I was doing the same thing. Either I was getting some comps offline. Yes, I go to Zillow just like anyone else and other websites, and I would just look at that data, put it all into a spreadsheet, and come up with a number. Now, what's funny about that is a lot of folks will bark at using Zillow or a third-party website, but to me, I did the research. I looked at comps for, say, 123 Main Street, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Main Street came in. And I would also, at the same time, send a request over to my realtor, and that realtor would send me comps. And lo and behold, the same comps that I would get off sites like Zillow and Redfin and all these would also be on, public data, would also be on the MLS. So I thought, yes, sometimes she or he, the realtor, would give me a couple more comps. But in that case, I would just add them to the sheet, especially when I needed a quick and dirty. So when I needed a quick and dirty to get an idea of what the property's worth, I would definitely go over to my spreadsheet, because I was like, hey, it brought it in automatically and all that. So if you guys have a property you'd like me to analyze for you live, I will certainly do it. I'm going to go ahead and pick one out here, but if you have a property that you need me to analyze, I will certainly do it. It has to be a single family residence nationwide in any one of the states. I would prefer it not to be what's called a non-disclosure state, and that would be a state like Texas or Indiana. Believe it or not, guys, there are laws, unfortunately, on the books that prevent the sales prices of properties to be, shared publicly for whatever reason, maybe under the guise of privacy. But to me, I would most certainly block things like the name of the homeowner, that kind of stuff, pictures of the inside of the home, which are available all over online anyway. But for some reason, the sales price is, a no-no in 13 states. So I hope that changes soon, guys, because it'll help improve my software and a bunch of others that are out there. But yeah, so let's just get right into it here. If you guys don't already sent over an address, I'll just go ahead and pick one off line here. Let's take a look. Let's go over to, if you're just browsing online and you're looking up, let's go to Google. And maybe we can do, let's go to Zillow and actually bring up a property, and I'll show you how easy it is to use the sheet. So let's go to Phoenix, Arizona, and let's do for sale. That's great. So here are plenty of houses in Phoenix. So you as an investor, guys, you need to be able to make a decision quickly on properties, right? So let's go to my old stomping grounds to Maryvale. So here's a property here. And this is how the software works. The simple spreadsheet works. You're just going to copy it over. Notice I just copied this address here. And I'm just going to hit new property. I'm going to paste it into the clipboard, and I'm going to hit find. Immediately what it's designed to do is bring in the bedroom, bathroom, and square footage. And visually I can see that the house is a single story. And also I can see that it's a 2-car attached from what it looks like in that picture there. 2-car attached garage. So once I've got all that, if I have the asking price, I can put it in there. If not, I'll just put $1, and then I'll select a single family residence. Being that this house was built in 1979, just again, a quick and dirty, if it's in this case 30, 40 years old, I would probably put in something like $25 a square foot for a rehab, or perhaps even $20 a square foot, because it's definitely going to need some updating from the late 70s. In terms of profit, a lot of investors choose a flat amount if they're a wholesaler or somebody who does assignments. But as a fix and flipper, I'll just put $1 in here because I'm going to make my profit off the ARV. And I'll explain that in a second. But it's as simple as that. Now it's going to do its thing. And I'll go back here, just make sure I'm not missing anything with you guys. But it's going to go ahead and pull comparable sales and using an API through Zillow and many other sites. And it's going to show us exactly what that property is worth. It's going to show the current market value, the after repair value, and we can definitely compare that to what Zillow thinks it's worth. Zillow says that this property Zestimate their trademark here is 219,733. You can see that there. So 219,733. All right. And it's been on Zillow for 9 days. Now the condition of the home, very important. You can see here that overall it's in good condition from what I can see. There's new carpet, no landscaping, kitchen is very bland, but you can easily see this is a property that needs some updating to 2019 for sure. You know, the typical stainless steel, cabinets can definitely be upgraded. Kitchen's rather small. That wood floor you could probably keep and get away with, but luckily it's got some new carpet. You could use new vanity, definitely a tub or shower, upgrade those doors and all that good stuff. So let's go back to the software, and what it's doing, you can see it's bringing in those comps. And when it's complete, when it's done, it's going to show us what the house is worth today and what the property will be worth with the after repair value. In other words, after we did all those upgrades I just recommended. So again, guys, the whole reason I created this sheet was to just be able to run comps very quickly. And if you can please share this page, share this with others. Let's get as many people as we can in here. And I'll definitely, analyze your properties if you have them. All right. So let's see here. Let's go back to the sheet. Almost done. And then you're going to see it color coordinate. Now, did you see that happen there? It just brought in all the comparable sales and boom, there we go. How awesome is that? I don't have to chase down a realtor. I don't have to send them an email. And by the way, when you get that email, you're only going to get back a spreadsheet, a PDF, or a link to the MLS locally. You're still going to have to go into those spreadsheets, links, and everything and pull out the properties manually. And you're going to have to look at, is my property, subject property, similar to the ones that my realtor, cross my fingers, brought through? Did they go out a half mile? Did they go out 3/4 of a mile? Did they go out a mile? Did they look at the bedroom, bathroom, or square footage and other characteristics to make sure the property's like mine? Whereas with this spreadsheet, I just simply, you saw it. I pasted an address of a house I've never seen before. I've immediately brought it in, and I can see that according to my algorithm that the property's worth 229. Now, something that Zillow doesn't do, I'm not knocking on Zillow, by the way, guys. I'm a capitalist. I love free enterprise and liberty. I'm just saying their website is a marketing site that lists properties for sale. It's gauged for the public and consumers as well as realtors through leads and stuff like that. My particular spreadsheet just does value. That's it. Just does value so that investors can make decisions on properties very quickly for single family residents, townhomes and condos across the US very quickly. So with that said, if you have a property you'd like me to analyze, go ahead and put it into the comments on the Facebook Live here, guys. We've been live here for a couple minutes. And as individuals start coming in, I did tag a bunch of folks. Let me actually share this to a couple pages. Let's see if I can share it in a group here quickly. And so we've got that. Put it on my page here. And let's see, B, REI Rockstar. Come join. And if you can do the same, I would appreciate that. So we can get some folks in here. And that way, there we are. And then actually, guys, let's open up this Facebook deal here. And let's click on, see, a lot of you folks I did like 2 or 3 posts and I just got overwhelmed. Like everybody was like, yes, absolutely, send that sheet over. So I think what I'll do here is I'll go ahead and real estate investing -A to Z. I'll share it in there, real estate investing -A to Z. So let's see here. Oh, that's cool. I can do that too. See if it'll let me do that. Share in a group. Oh, it doesn't look like it'll find it there. So let's see here. Oh, we'll do a watch party. Come join. All right, so if you have a property, thank you for joining us, by the way. I want to analyze it. I'm an investor. My name is Randy. I live in Scottsdale, Phoenix, Arizona, and I have a spreadsheet that I've been sharing for years. I actually used it in my own business first, and yeah, so I would most certainly appreciate that you share this because we're about to get into it here as we began the live footage. Let me go ahead and shut this down here. Oops, mute this here. There we go. All right, so there's the live deal there. So, all right, so what I did so far, guys, I went over to Zillow. I just pulled up through a property, never seen this property before. I double-clicked it. I came over to the sheet. I dropped it in, and I can immediately see the value. So you can see why I use this, by the way, because it does all the analyzing for me. I'm able to save so much time. All of you out there, how many times have you as an investor came across a wholesaler's property and the ARV was completely off? I know that happens, and I know you're thinking, you're smirking about it because I know what happens. It happens in our market here in Phoenix, Maricopa County. It happens in Atlanta, and the ATL. It happens back in Chicago, my home city. But you know, the reason that happens is because there's a lot of educators out there that put out all aspects of the business, or they'll just give you a small piece of the pie, and none of them really dive in too much into this subject, which is analysis. I do. I've always been that way. I was one of those people, analysis by paralysis, and so I wanted to simplify my analysis to the point where I could teach someone else and outsource that part of my business, and I did. I have someone on my team that analyzes these properties, tells us exactly what to do on them, and this is the software I use to do it. And it's technically a software because it has some programming, but really it's just an Excel spreadsheet that just is a working horse. It does the same thing every time. So if you have a deal you'd like me to analyze, put it up in the comment on the Facebook Live, and I'll definitely analyze it for you. For this one here, guys, I immediately saw what my offer is going to be on it. You can see this little deal here that says 116. So if you go back to the beginning of the video, you'll see that I, within 2 minutes, analyzed this entire deal. Just boom, I knew exactly what the property offer should be because the comps came in down here at the bottom of the sheet. You can use these shortcuts, by the way. You can see all the comparable sales came in. And the spreadsheet automatically chose my ARV, automatically chose my current market value, and a coin that I termed called the distressed market value, the DMV. That's not real big in the industry. It's just something I use. I use it as a threshold to show me what properties are the cheapest and what, did I get a good deal in the neighborhood? But by doing that, you can see here, everything I need on the sheet is here to make a decision. Now, guys, we use it live talking to sellers too, because it's just that powerful. It's just an easy way to see what deal is something we should spend our time on and what deal is something that we should just move on. And back in 2012, before this was, or 2010, 11, when this was just a simple sheet, I was spending a lot of time contacting realtors and getting all the data and putting everything together. And by that time, I would lose the deal. Another investor who was a realtor and investor themselves, has access to the MLS, they would already talk to the seller, make the offer, or book the appointment, or worse, lock it up for full price and shake off the fleas and renegotiate the price later. I don't do that, by the way. I give the right offer the first time, not a bait and switch, right? That happens in the insurance industry with insurance companies, automobile insurance. I don't want to see that happen on the real estate side. I give a real number and I want to commit to that confidently, and this sheet helps me do that. So if you have an address, let me check these comments, guys, here. I'll be checking every once in a while. So we got Jerry. What's up, Jerry? Steph, happy Saturday. Yeah, it works, Steph. It works in all places across the U.S. And Yana, what's up, girl? Andre, hey, Andre. I think you've actually used the sheet in the past. Thank you for, joining us here. Yeah, it definitely works in all across the U.S. You can use it in any state. In fact, I do. I help my coaching students as well as my investment partners in other states. I have a deal out in Texas right now where I had a gentleman come across and was interested in partnering up, and he actually had a property and said, yeah, I'd love to do some partnerships, but let me liquidate this property in Texas. I said, hey, you know what, let's JV. I'll do a small fee. Let's go ahead and get it together. I've never seen your property, but just give me the address. So he gives me the address. Like, 5 minutes later, I call him back. I'm like, look, current market value is 205, 215. Your ARV is 235. I can lock it up for 210, wholesale it as a, buy and hold, cash flowing 12% cap rate. All of that came in a couple of seconds. Just market. By the way, market I've never been to. It was outside of Houston, south of there, called Texas City. And, you know, I was just, you come across like a real professional because you're able to get the data you need to make a decision. Real estate investing can be very easy. A lot of people like to complicate it. It's very easy. If you know your values right and you come at it with the right strategy, real estate investing is very easy. And if you guys are joining us now and you want to go just get a copy of the sheet, you can get a free copy just by going to reiautocomp.com. Here's the site. There's a little video that I paid someone on Fiverr to create. It's for Windows. No, it doesn't work on Mac. You'd have to have parallels and all this other stuff. And I just don't have the time or the money to put into it to worry about Mac right now. Eventually, the goal is to put it online, but that's something that, guys, honestly, I have to get this product, as a service to grow quite exponentially in order to have it self-finance the ability to go online. So if you have a property, guys, share it in the chat there in the comments, and I'll definitely analyze it. So I'll type that in there. Got a property. Yeah, so this one here, if we go back to the sheet, guys, let me just give you guys a couple of tips because I want this to be valuable to you. It'll obviously be saved up on Facebook, so you can always come back to the REI Autocomp fan page and watch these things. But, imagine that you had a deal that was ARV of 200 and all of the numbers make sense and the whole scenario made a lot of sense. You had a true motivated seller going through 2 or 3 different levels of stress. The home was distressed. They were in financial distress for medical bills. And maybe they had a vacay and a divorce. The perfect scenario for that magical motivated seller. Okay? Just listen to me for a moment. The screen, I'll just leave it as is. So all these things are lining up. You have a property that needs repairs, right? So that homeowner doesn't feel like you're doing that, nice house lowball offer where the home doesn't need any repairs and you came in at 70% of ARV or 65% and all that mess. That's lining up. Homeowner likes you. You get a contract. Everything's good, right? However, if you didn't look at 2 other factors of the scenario, and again, guys, perfect deal that you think is good and you're about to move forward on. You've got your title, your investor-friendly title company. You've got hungry buyers who want that 3-2 in that hot zip code. The marketing was perfect. You may have an assistant. You may have all these things that are going, and that maybe this is not even your first deal. But what can happen, especially on a fix and flip, and not just a wholesale deal, assignment deal, but on a fix and flip where you might be getting your first hard money or private money or gap funder, and you didn't check 2 other factors, one of which could be days on market, right? Especially if it's a market you didn't understand. So you failed to check days on market, which will then on the back end affect your holding costs in a big way. Your hard money cost might be $1,500 a month, $1,600 a month, right? You borrowed 70% of the purchase price. You put a big down payment down or did gap funding. And because you didn't know how long the project was going to take beyond the rehab, now you're sitting there holding a property and every month it's cutting into your potential profit and maybe even your own liquid cash is being burnt through. You're burning through capital. That's one. The other side could be this. What if you didn't take a look at whether, and now you can look up on your screens here, whether or not the 12-month median sales price or average price per square foot was dropping. So what do you notice about this house here? Here we are a year ago where average houses sold for 205. We're now sitting at 145,000, at these last 2 months. Now, I'm going to chalk that up to wintertime, right? It just happens in real estate. Things slow down a little bit, maybe not for us investors, but for homeowners. And so, overall, this is a good sign. From left to right, you can see this is a nice steady sales, nice steady volume of sales, right? So this is great. This is a great sign. Now, the price per square foot did drop overall, but you can see it's been level, and then it's dropping again. I'm going to chalk that up to going into the winter time. Another thing with price per square foot is there could be sales of larger properties, right? And we can't really hold that against that market. A larger property typically can sell for less per square foot, so people can get a larger home. So I'm not too concerned with that all the time. What I definitely look at is this, and this sheet tells me that, guys, right away. I just look at the sheet and go, okay, is it going this way? Is it flat, or is it going this way? In other words, if it did go like this, right, and there was a large gap of say 30, 40, $50,000 over a year's time consistently dropping, I'm just going to pass on that deal. Everything else was lining up, but if I failed to check that, I would have bought that deal, and 3 to 6 months later, who's to say that that wouldn't continue, right? And my 205,000 at 70% here, I bought at 150, and then 6 months later, now I'm at it for full price, and I have to liquidate it and lose all my rehab and all that, right? Just put it on the market and wholesale and hope that I get my money out of the deal. So that's just one little thing that the sheet does for us. Another thing too is a lot of those tools that are out there, and believe me, guys, a lot of tools now. One of the first ones I ever used was Freedom Soft, still a great product. I happen to use Podio now for my services, but um, if you have a tool like Freedom Soft or a lot of these new services, I know there's one out of Texas, I can't remember the name of it, and there's some other Privy, I think, is another one. Great services, but they're geared towards marketing, bringing you deals. They'll definitely show you market analysis, things like that. They'll even show you raw comps, but none of those will ever, well, I shouldn't say ever, but at least for the time being, none of them will actually show the current market value plus the ARV and why it's that. So, those services are fairly new. I actually launched this in 2011 or 12. I want to say 12, and the sheet has just gotten better and better and better. The more users I get, the more feedback I get, I improve the sheet. I just want it to be a lean, mean machine. I don't ever think it'll be something where I'm competing with those other services. I'm not in the market to bring you leads for this specific thing, but it's just here to say, okay, here's a property, here's the ARV, run your analysis, and then do your strategy. Speaking about strategies, they're right up here at the top of the sheet. So as soon as you know what the ARV is, in this case, this house, 221 potentially, I will run a fix and flip analysis, and my actual offer will be 116,000. And it'll show us. I'll put here. I'll sell it for 200 and say 21,000, which is the ARV, and it'll show me my gross profit of 105,000. Now, let's go ahead and double check this ARV, guys, because I can see here that it chose 77th Drive, and this house here does have a third bathroom. It's a little bit smaller, and it was sold back in October. And the rest here, which is a good sign, I want to see, yellow. Excuse me, I want to see definitely green and light green. With the dates here, you'll definitely always see red. It's very uncommon to see so many sales in that month. They're usually from the last several months. So I had to choose that color coordination. But you can see how easily I can see what properties aren't like mine, because the sheet automatically tells me this. You can see here, this is a sheet, rather a deal that is not like my deal. And had your realtor sent you all these comps and you're happy because you're like, oh, look at all these comps, sales are coming in at 210. Well, this house is not like your house. You shouldn't use that at all. You should pick three to five properties that are like yours, and that's it to get a CMV. You should pick 3 to 5 properties to get an ARV, right? And at least 3 properties to get the distressed market value. And if you do everything right on the sheet and you've got your parameters set correctly, you'll have a good idea of what the property, definitely what the property is worth. Another thing the sheet does, if you notice here already, guys, you can see that my ARV is slightly higher than my CMV, and that's something you can change. It's a good sign to show you that you need to change your parameters. So I'm using what's called a blended value. So I'm going to switch this back to average, because then that's really what you can trust. The sheet's so good, it's actually using the averages of the properties that are like ours to get that ARV, current market value, and distress. So you can see that currently, if the house was, say, in Good to great condition is typically the CMV, unless you're in a real poor neighborhood, like a poor quality neighborhood. But most houses in the US are good to great quality. I know this because if they weren't, they wouldn't be livable, they wouldn't be rentable, right? And or local government ordinances are going to shut things down. So most houses are in good to great condition. Some are in excellent, and that's our ARVs. But this house, assuming it's in good to great condition, is worth about 219. Why? Because the software chose automatically these three properties. This one sold for 220, this one for 219, this one for 219. And each one of those, you can see the average here, is less than 0.3 miles away, sold since October 2 months ago, is also a 3 bedroom and or one 2 bath, and is very similar in the square footage and even the lot. And you can see that filled with green. That's what you want to see here. They all scored well, so we're 90% sure, this comp score here, 90% sure, dark green, that that property is what it's worth. So how much better is that when you send out your deal to buyers or private lenders, that you can justify your numbers? And that's a big problem in the industry, guys. When you have, other investors looking at your ARV and saying, "Oh my gosh, we see it all the time, guys. These wholesalers, wow, they're just showing, ARV's 450, and everybody likes to make a joke about it, but nobody's out there changing anything." And that's not how I operate. I do not go and complain about things without providing a solution. That's just the way I was brought up, I was raised, and it's just not a good way to conduct business on a daily basis. Don't be a complainer. Don't be somebody who's constantly, look at me, look at me, look what I can do. Be a solutions provider, serve others, and everything else will fall in place. With a sheet like this, guys, it's a Saturday. I love taking my time to help other investors. I've had struggles. I've had situations that were difficult to come out of, and luckily there's always been another investor or somebody who knows a little bit more than myself or been in the industry a long time to help me out. And those people know who they are. And so I'm not somebody who is out there, promoting all kinds of products and services, guys. Anything that I recommend, I've used myself, or I've heard really good things by people that I trust, right? There's plenty of services for marketing. There's plenty of services for, CRMs and things like that. There's not too many for comparable sales and comps, right? Because everybody wants to compete with supposedly the golden rule, which is MLS, but you really don't need that these days. There's enough data online to make a decision about a property, and I will put that up against any property. The only thing that I now go to the MLS for is if a property, I couldn't find enough comps, which is rare. But even if I find enough comps, if there's something special about the neighborhood, I'll give you a good example where, 9 times out of 10, I won't, more than that, 99 times out of 100, I won't have to go to a realtor, go to outside help with investors. Even on my own personal Facebook page, I really don't go too much to others. But in terms of like a neighborhood, like we have an area called Coronado out here in Phoenix, and it's a classic, neighborhood. It's a historical neighborhood, excuse me. And I had a property that was really good. The numbers looked good, even to REI Auto Comp, even to my sales that were happening here and here. All the numbers matched up, but I can still sniff something was off. Something's not right. And what it was the property was built in like 2006. And so the appeal for Coronado is the reason why properties sell for more is when they are historic. And that's something that any software cannot do for you. Okay. And so I just, quick emailed a realtor, emailed a couple of investors, got the feedback I needed, and passed on the deal. Why? Because nobody was going to buy a $400,000 or $500,000 2006 build home. It had no appeal. Even though the price per square foot was telling us that it's a good deal and all this stuff, once I went out, had a runner look at the property, compared it to real pictures of others, and saw why it's probably not going to sell for that much, I passed on the deal. Half hour of my time. Usually most properties, it's 5 minutes and I move on. This one did take about 30, 45 minutes, but that's much better than 30 to 45 minutes of what it used to be all the time. I mean, it would just take me so long to look at a deal. So anyhow, I appreciate you guys. If you do have a property you would like me to, look at these comments here, to analyze, I'll definitely just send it on in, and I'll definitely analyze it for you guys. So this particular deal here, looks like the live is actually on a little bit of delay. This deal here, guys, all I did is I went up to Zillow, I grabbed the property, This isn't a real deal. This is just a real property that I wanted to kind of showcase the sheet. And if you guys want to go download the sheet, go for it. Go over to reiautocomp.com, download the sheet, run Windows 10 and Excel, activate your macros and ActiveX, and start using it. If you love it, there is like a special going on right now. I had my assistant Dinesh set up a weekend special for that whole Black Friday, what is it, Cyber Monday, where normally prices on this product is like 10 to 30 bucks a month, I think is what I sell it for. And which is nothing to compare to what I've invested into it. I've spent well over $6,000-7,000, believe it or not. Believe it or not, at $50 to $100 an hour for engineers to make this work, right? And so I sell it at pennies on the dollar. You can use a simple spreadsheet to get you comps. It works all over the country, and limited data in 13 states that are what's called non-disclosure states. But even then, you can dump. Watch, I'll show you something. You're gonna like this. You can dump in comps from other areas. So let's say you went to Redfin, and let's say you looked up that same property. So I'm going to go to See Home Estimate, paste it on in there, and here's that property. Okay, so Redfin has their own version of values. Somewhere on this sheet, this page, they'll show you what they believe the property's worth. But if you come down here, you can see some other sales. It usually says solds or similar property solds. Let's see if this is similar homes for sale. Similar sold homes. You can see this deal here, this one here, right? So if I actually open this up and it loads it, I can take this comp right here just by double clicking, and I can put it into the sheet. Same with a realtor's, MLS, title company data. I'll just type in, Phoenix, Arizona, and the zip code 85003, or excuse me, 85033. And the API brings that deal in, and I can just hit add it, boom, and now I've got another comp. So that's another powerful thing about the sheet is if I'm missing some data points, it takes me 2 seconds to just Google the property, go to another site, and pull in another 10, 15 comps. Again, look how easy that was. This one sold August 2nd, 2019. Throw it up there, double click, come back to the sheet, hit add comp, and now I've got myself 2 new comps on the property. I'm just literally pasting it in there. So we've got Phoenix, Arizona, 85033. Bam, now that property's in there too. That's how I'm able to make decisions on properties very, very quickly, guys. And with the offer widget, this little deal down here, as soon as I know what the property's worth, here now the CMV is 197,000. So the average properties here sell for 199, right? The ARV is 222. And so based on a wholesale strategy, I should be offering $116,000, right? And what's great about that is you can see that the minimum threshold, the DMV, is 135. So if I can pick up a property where an ARV in the neighborhood's 222, where the current market values are usually high 200s, and the distressed properties sell for 135, how do I know that? Because the sheet tells me these 3 properties here, 152, 145, and 110, they're averaging 135, right? They're within a quarter mile. So if I'm coming in at 116, did I get a good deal? Yes, absolutely. I got a good deal because this tells me what the values are. And this sheet is telling me ARV minus out 60, 70%, which is already built into the software sheet. I just said when I do a wholesale deal, I'll do the ARV of average value at 70 cents, subtract out my profit and repairs. When I do a fix and flip, ARV 70 cents on the dollar minus repairs. When I do a buy and hold, I'll buy at 85 cents on the dollar minus out my repairs, just like that. And by having those widgets in there, I could easily click it back and forth between them and notice what happens. I want you to watch this maximum. When I'm on a wholesale deal, I am to offer $116,000. Actually, let's go back in and add a profit here. Let's say I wanted to make $5,000. I'm supposed to offer $111,000. But let's say that I got a hard money loan, I've got access to some capital, I want to take it down myself. Now, and the homeowner's like, ah, that's too low. That's not going to work. I've got to offer for 115. Thank you. Have a good day. I can switch it to a fix and flip and say, well, wait a minute. You know what? Let me bring a partner in. I'll do 116, 440, beating your other offer. And now I'm not assigning the deal, guys. I can offer more money because that $5,000 is now out of the picture, right? I'm no longer going to assign it. I can offer higher amount. Or you get beat by another investor like me who says, no, I'm going to do a buy and hold on this. I'll fix the repairs of 33,000 and I'll buy and hold it. Therefore, my offer is going to be 149 at 85 cents on the ARV. Boom. That's, by the way, a great little tip. That's how you're getting beat out by other investors who are applying a different strategy. And all of this is done in just a simple sheet, guys. And by the way, I upload it to my Podio system, but just by clicking report, I'll export a full PDF report just like that. Boom. And this report, you can share it with other individuals. So you just save it, export it. You can put it in any part of your Dropbox. You can upload it to box.com, Drive, and you can even link it in the Podio and have all these as a part of your Podio lead, and literally click it from Podio and have that PDF load up. So as your your admins, as your what do you call that? A lot of folks call them their senior acquisitions, right? I just have an acquisitions, and then title, escrow coordinator, those kind of positions. Everyone can see this report. So at any time, if that homeowner calls back in and you want to renegotiate, if this report was done in the last 30 days, it's done. It's just sitting there waiting. The last thing that sheet has is a homogeny. So it'll show you like the bedrooms, bathroom square footage homogeny. So you can easily see that this property at 4-bedroom, has a little bit, more bedrooms than the others, the average being about 3. Some of the bedrooms and bathrooms in the area are 1s. So you can see we are a little bit of an anomaly. We have 2. We have generally a little bit more square footage, a little bit more lot size, and we're a little bit newer. All good things. Now, if these ratios and these dials were flipped, you can always use that in 2 ways. You can use that homogeny towards the homeowner as quote unquote ammo to negotiate. Hey, your property is 400 square foot smaller than average. Your lot size is 4,000 smaller than the average lot size. That helps you justify. And since my offer is 149, what's stopping me from sharing these 3 low comps here with the seller and saying, hey, I'm at 149. Highland sold for 152. Where am I missing you? 79th Avenue sold for 145. Where am I missing you? 78th Avenue, 110. Where am I missing you? That was a 4.2, just like yours at a 1,500 square foot. Where am I missing you here? So all of this is done like that. Another thing I like too is I export, when I do the reports, I can just send comps, so I don't give away the whole sheet to a buyer and have them show you where my numbers are at and all that. I can give just the comps. I can even block out the address. And that way you can justify your ARV. When you put out your flyers, by the way, wholesalers and fix and flippers, and you say ARV's 222, I rarely get anybody barking at that, because I will show to them, look, this property is worth this. It's 79th Avenue, 81st, and 4627 North, 77th Avenue. Those 3 sold for an average of 222. And if you even look at it price per square foot wise, it's 221. Look how accurate that is. Those 3 properties are the most like my property. What other ARV are you going to get, right? And when I originally built the software, I even did, market research. I looked up on, Zillow, YouTube, and I saw how other investors were looking at it, looking at ARV and stuff, and it just didn't work out. Hey, Jonathan, what's good, sir? Sorry, man, I haven't checked the comments here for a second. I was just, sharing my tool, REI AutoComp, with Facebook here, Facebook Live, and just showing you guys how and why I use the sheet. And I'm so passionate about it because I was one of those people that struggled as a new investor with analysis. And I didn't get much help from realtors. I didn't get much help from much of anybody back when I was a short sale investor in 2008 and 9, right? So it just took way too long, right? And I was sitting here as a child of Generation X going into almost being a millennial. I was one of those people who was like, no, this should exist. There's no reason why I can't click a button and find out what a house is worth. And by the way, let me touch back to something. I'll go back to the beginning of the presentation here with you guys. Yes, MLS is a place where you can get comps. But again, if you do the same test, call up a realtor, give them an address, as cold call one, just call them up and say, hey, I'm an investor in town. I'll be having some marketing going out here soon. Say, I need someone on my power team that when I get a property, I'd like you to pull some comps, send it over. In fact, I have a property that I'm looking at now that I got from cold calling or something like that. Would you mind sending me some comps? Test out 3 realtors. I guarantee you 2 of them will send you nothing at all or never call you back. And the one that does will take his or her sweet time. Now, I'm not knocking realtors and or what they do. What I'm saying is that there's really no incentive for them right now. You're on the fence with maybe I'll send you a deal, maybe not, right? So I get their position. They're commission only. It's not a salary job plus commission. It's commission only. So their time is valuable. So what you can do is, and a lot of folks don't teach this, unfortunately. I don't know if it's just because they don't know about it, but you can also ask that realtor, hey, set me up with an account. Many of the MLSs, I would almost venture to say all of them, will have some type of assistant access, and you can get access to the MLS that way in a legal way if you're an assistant to that realtor, right? It's something like anywhere from, there's a fee, 15, 75 bucks a year, whatever. You can, have work that out with the realtor, but you can get that MLS access. Here's the thing though, you now will have to learn that MLS, how it works, how to pull those comps, log in. It won't show the ARV. It won't have a widget. It won't show you fix and flip. It won't allow you to do automatic calculations. It won't show you 12-month charts, things like that. And if it does, it's going to be so much information. That information is for realtors. It's not geared towards investors or the public even. So that's why Zillow is out there. That's why Zillow is such a big marketing machine. It has all that data, right? And so you can be one of 2 people of schools. You can complain about it and you can say, oh, Zillow this, oh, Open Door that, right? Or you can embrace it, right? You can embrace the new train in town, guys. It's one of the things I just don't understand about, as a capitalist, as somebody who loves freedom and liberty in this great country of ours, I just don't understand how people come across just so negative about those things. I can't wrap my mind around it, Maybe I'm spoiled. Maybe I'm a child of the 80s who, back then it was just like so exciting, new technology. Everybody likes getting that new iPhone. Everybody likes seeing all that stuff, right? This stuff is meant to connect us, but it's a tool just like anything else. It's whatever you use it for, right? So for me, when I see something that's needed, I create it. If I have the capital, I make it. I don't complain about it. Zillow didn't give me an accurate estimate, so I created my own. And I started sharing it with others, right? And for the most part, it's been well received. A lot of people use it, love it. I try to improve it. I have one assistant overseas. He works a couple days a week, guys. He answers support tickets. But for the most part, this workhorse does what I need it to do on every property. And again, if you guys have a property you need me to look at, I will most happily take a look at it here. What's up, Troy? If you have a property, I'd like to analyze it for you. In fact, anybody on the call still, I will analyze it. Looks like there's about 5 or 10 of you on here. Give me a property, any property in the US. I will analyze it in seconds. I will figure out what the ARV is, the current market value. I'll have an idea of what the repairs are. I'll tell you, what to offer on the deal, what price range, right? Soft pass, right? And I can do that on any deal in the US. And I'm just using a simple spreadsheet without having to call a realtor, right? Without having to look at a jumbled mess of information. I'm just using my simple spreadsheet, REI AutoComp. Earlier today, I went and posted in a bunch of groups. So if any of you guys are on here, I appreciate you coming over because again, I didn't have this, back in 2008, 2009 when I was really starting to put houses under contract and help people avoid short sale. And you can just go download it, load it up on your computer, start pulling comps and making offers on deals. I absolutely cannot understand how people are out there without knowing what the value of a property is. It is the absolute foundation of what's going on here. If you're going to buy something, don't you want to know what it costs or what it's worth? If you're going to go buy a radio, a new phone, how are you going to negotiate that if you have no idea what it's worth? it's just not going to happen. You're in the dark. It's the blind leading the blind. And so that's why I focused so much on that. And I resolved it. Once I had this tool, I resolved it. I moved on to hiring other people. I got a full-time analysis person, right? I already had an admin. I was probably, this was back in 010, 011, before anyone was teaching. Like now there's, God bless them, there's a lot of good teachers out there and educators who are talking about, the keyword dispositions. That's something I had back in 2010, guys. 9 years ago. Dispositions, built it all out. How did I get there and how did I build that out? Well, I had this already. I could already build on the acquisition side, which is the person who answers the phone, right? The inside sales, the admin, as a lot of people call them, an admin. It's that person who's taking that call, getting the first information about the property, practicing due diligence, making sure it's a zip code we buy in, all that sort of stuff, and reason for the sale, maybe get a soft pass in there, what amount they're asking. Then you have an analysis, and that analysis is not taught at all. Just like due diligence, or excuse me, dispositions wasn't taught back in 2010, and now it is. Analysis will probably be the next thing, because investors will start to see the value of how quickly can I find out what a house is worth and not waste my time on sending acquisitions out to a property and have somebody want 300,000 for a house that's worth 150. That's why I had this. I was going on appointments, guys, just because I was happy to generate leads. If you go to google.com right now and you look up We Buy Houses, I'm on the first page, sometimes 2, 3 places. The first page of Google, 2, 3 places, because I understand SEO. Back in the day, it was me and Cody Sperber. That's it. Sean Terry too. He had a couple sites that were up there. Yeah, it was because I was so desperate to get leads. I built a site, randyhelpshomeowners.com, and it was always on the first page for like foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, sell my house quickly, all that sort of stuff. And eventually I got really, really good at it and started other sites up. And once the leads were coming in, it's a matter of closing them, right? So once leads were coming in, I was looking at, okay, I'm closing some deals, but why aren't I closing these other ones? Or why am I going on appointments and not getting contracts? So in order to find that, you need to look at the numbers. Was the reason that I was offering too much, too little, not enough, right? And this analysis tool helped me understand that, like leaps and bounds. As soon as I put this in my business, I started looking at deals the same way. By applying different strategies on my tool belt, I was understanding how to structure deals a whole lot better, which was absolutely great. And so, oh, here we go. Spencer. What's good, Spencer? Sun Devils. That's right, John. Got that Revere, sir. God bless you, man. That's great. Up in Connecticut. Is that where you're at, Spencer? Let me copy this here for y'all. Bam. All right. So Spencer was kind enough to give us a deal in Connecticut. I've never done a deal out here, sir. So let me get this solid address for y'all. And again, if you guys put something in there, make sure it's a single family residence. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clear this sheet for Spencer. Boom. We're done with that Phoenix deal. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. I appreciate that on this lovely Saturday. And I just love analysis. So I'm going to paste it in here, guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze this deal. Now, Spencer, the only thing I'm going to ask you to do is tell me the condition. Like if you know the condition of the property, I would appreciate that. I'm going to assume it's a single family and probably a 2-story if we're talking Connecticut, and it probably doesn't have a garage. In my experience, they usually have a detached or none at all. So for that information, I'm just going to go back here and I will double check Zillow just to get a look at it. It doesn't look like there's a garage of any kind. So make note of what Zillow thinks it's worth. Oh, what's that? They don't have a Zestimate. They don't have a Zestimate here. So that's great. So what's interesting is it says here is this for sale. So I'm not trying to put your deal out there. This looks like it might be like a for sale by owner, which is great, sir. So let's say 2-story, no garage. If I'm wrong, Spencer, let me know. I'm going to say 2-story, no garage. And I am going to say it is a fix and flip based on the year, built in 1900. So let's say asking price is $1. Built in 1900, easy 25 a square foot, 42,000 in repairs of this 1600 square foot 4.2. Garage, I'm just going to put none or unknown because I really don't know if it has a garage on it, man. So the API didn't bring that in. And then from that point, guys, I'm just going to, again, bring the comps in. So what it's going to do, I've never done a deal in that market. It's going to bring in the comps, and I'm going to analyze it how I would a fix and flip, a buy and hold, or an assignment. You can also set this tool up to do short sales and other things, lease options, stuff like that. That's why, again, I love it because those offer widgets, you can set them up however you want. You can take the ARV and times it by 0.90, 0.20. You can you can base your analysis on the DMV or the CMV, current market value times 0.85. You can change the repairs. You can change the overall data in the comps by adding other comps from MLS or title company or what have you. So that's why I use it, guys. So you can see how quick it is. It's going to do its thing. It's going to go to ePraisal and some other sites. Now, guys, I'm excited to tell you that as I get more users and a little bit of capital comes in, I put 100% of it back in the software. The only reason we have 15.7 is all the funds that have come in, I'm just putting it back into the software, making it better, right? And I hope and I pray that a competitor comes in and brings it and creates something better. I'm a capitalist. I don't mind competition. The more a spotlight shines on this industry at this little niche, the better for all of us, right? That's why a company like Tesla releases its patents. Their goal is not just to make money. Their goal is above and beyond, energy sustainability. You don't do that by just holding everything inside and being quiet about what you're doing. You share it. That's my philosophy with it. And with something like this, share it. Tell other people about it. Even if you see it, you like it, share it with another investor and say, hey, this is a tool you can get. Go try it. 14-day trials available on the site. Download it. Use it for free. Full version. Here we go. We got some comps coming in here for you, Spencer. Spencer, there we go. Boom, square footage is coming in over here, guys. Watch your eye over here. There's your lot info. And boom, it's going to run another algorithm where it's going to come back in. It's going to get that distance, hopefully. And hopefully it's not there. It got rid of duplicates, which is good. We're left with about 7 comps. There we go. Now, right away, guys, this is probably not a deal I would do, only because I just don't have confidence in these yellows, okay? So what it's telling me right now is to offer 26,000 on this property. And the first thing I want to fix is this ARV. So Spencer, if you can hear me, let me go back to this here because I need a little bit of details from you, Spencer. If you don't mind telling me if I was correct on whether or not there was a garage. And let me get rid of my previous property here. Close that out of there. And I'm going to take this address, Spencer, and I'm going to bring in some data that didn't come in. And I'm just going to run over to Redfin, and I need that yellow to be light green or green, guys. I need that to be light green or green. If I'm going to make a decision on this property, I need it to be light green or green. So let's see here. There we go. Hit space bar. All right, so Redfin is saying the estimate is $35,000, and you can see the reason why is it's got these solds here. So just like I did with that other property, I'm simply going to double click 44109. Remember that, 44109, and I'm going to add it. We're out in Cleveland is the city where I come from. Was it Cleveland or was it Connecticut? Cleveland, Ohio. Okay. Cleveland, Ohio, and then 44109. Earlier, I thought it was Connecticut. Sorry about that, sir. I'm just going to add that in there. All right. So we've got that comp in there. We've got another one here. This one's at 80,000. That'd be great for an ARV, but we don't get to choose, right? What the software does. The numbers get to choose a lot of things, guys. The numbers get to choose how you structure the deal. You can't just force a short sale. If there's equity, you can't just force a wholesale if there's no equity. So same thing, Cleveland, Ohio, 44109. Boom. Add row. I'm just adding comps in there. And the algorithm, everything's going to run automatically, and I'm trying to get these numbers to settle a little bit. So far, I don't like this deal, but that could just be a matter of getting the right data. So once I have all the data that I need to make a decision, then I'll go ahead and decide what we're going to do with this deal, guys. So this is exactly what my analysis person does in the company. Let's get that Cleveland. Thank you for sharing this. I appreciate that. If you guys have another property, drop it in. I'll go one by one. And please share this if you'd like to, tell other investors about this. This is basically free training, guys. It's not just all about the sheet. You're going to learn how investors look at properties. And good. Okay, these scores are getting better. And I'm happy to have you, share it, bring in anybody you'd like. Here's another deal that sold for $16,000. Wow. That Archwood. There we go. So let's add that Archwood in here. And again, it's going to be the same zip code. So far, I would have already passed on the deal if I had other ones, but if you're just getting started and you're just trying to hold on and get what you can, that's all good. I'm a little concerned about this one here because it doesn't have a sold date. So I'm going to show you guys a trick. When you need specific data, if you come here, I'm not seeing a sold date on this property. And if you come down this way, there's no data here either on Redfin. There we go, right there. November 14th, 2019 for 16.9. November 14th, 2019. It sold for 16.9. There we go. So we're going to add that row there. I'm going to close out and let's move over one more time. We've got this deal here. These last two, let's get these last two in here. Again, very easy to do. I'm double clicking 44109, adding the comp. It is that city of Cleveland. Ohio, 44109. Everything looks good. Now let's get that last one in here, guys. Open it up. I'm going to close out a Redfin. I'll double click this Denison 44109. Okay. Four four one zero 694. There we go. Okay. So now we've got some data. Look at that green right there. Now, Redfin said it was 35,000. I'm going to go with 38,000. Can you tell me, please, Spencer, if it is going to be a fix and flip, a wholesale deal? That would definitely be helpful. I'm assuming you want to do a fix and flip on it. While I'm waiting on that, Spencer, if you guys don't already know about me, check out the REIRockstar.com. It's my blog. It's linked over to my YouTube channel where I give out plenty of information. Look at this. This REI workflow here is amazing. You can download that for free. You can see this person's desktop was all tore up. And, I did a whole presentation on how to clear up your desktop. I know your guys' desktop looks like that. Let me show you my desktop, okay? Look at this. You don't even see the bar across the bottom. The most important thing to me is this trash over here because I don't want trash on my desktop. So I have every shortcut for Google, Chrome, and all that dumped into shortcuts. And then anything I'm working on is in a temporary folder for all of my businesses. That's it. And each one of those folders, if you watch that YouTube video, it's amazing. It's called REI Workflow. I've got some love here, some likes. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm probably going to upload this video to YouTube as well from Facebook. And you can download these folders here that I use to just organize the business. It's absolutely awesome. So I just named it REI Workflow. You can see it here. It's got my legal, HR, operations, management, marketing, the IT help desk, my property pipeline where my deals are, the employee area, all of these folders right here. I show you how to set them up, why they do what they do, and then I just give them to you. You can download all of them. Head over to YouTube, download it. It's awesome. Enough about that. Let's get back to our property here. So, guys, if I got a deal and I was here at home and I got this Cleveland deal, I would look at it and say, okay, we've got a 1900 4.2, 1600 square foot, 7,000 square foot lot. That's almost like what you would have out here, a 1500, 1600 square foot, 3.2 or 4.2. Great, awesome. Okay, software's telling me to offer $8,000 if in fact there's 42,000 in repairs. But I'm going to venture to say that, just for sake of this training here, and again, Spencer, I don't believe you responded just yet, but let's say that the property just needed $15,000. Okay, just for sake of this conversation. I don't know if you've seen the property, but we're good to go. You can see here that my offer could be $35,550. Now, here's something interesting about price points across the U.S. that are, say, under 150,000. Price points across the U.S. that are under 150,000. The reason I use 150,000 is I know that average rents are somewhere between 1,500. Like here in Phoenix, average rent is like 1,550 for your average home rental. Apartments 1,450, 1,350. But the average home, you're definitely going to pay about 1,550 for a 3.2 out here, anywhere here in Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, Gilbert. So a 10% cap rate on that would be $15,000 gross or net on your gross cash flow every year, right? And the only way to get that is to charge rent above 1,500. So what I'm getting now, the reason I'm telling you guys that is that out in areas like Akron, Cleveland, Cincinnati, areas where you can pick up properties at not 150,000, not 75,000, half of that, but 35,000, $33,000. Those properties are great because you have a big opportunity to fix and flip them, but you have an even larger opportunity to cash flow them and set them up as, properties that you can rehab and put a tenant in and wholesale those out or hold them yourself, especially if you can get owner financing with some kind of wrap, lease option, things like that. The property and the numbers are always going to decide how you take down a property. So many times if the numbers allow for it, you can do a wrap if the terms are favorable towards you. Or if it's free and clear, you can do owner financing, right? But in this case, I don't know if there's a mortgage on it, but they bought it in 2017 for $24K. I don't know. I don't know if that was an investor or a retail buyer. I don't know if they put 10 grand down because, it appraised for 35 and they put 10 grand down as a down payment. But in this case, guys, it's worth 38,800. My offer would have been 35,550. If I did a, buy and hold, it would have been $53,000 with an ARV of 86. However, you can see I'm not confident with that ARV. The number one rule I follow is I will not make an offer on a deal if I can't get this green. If it is at all yellow under 85%, what that tells me is I need to make an adjustment or move on. So before I give you a yay or nay on this deal, Spencer, I want to go down and look at what is the culprit. Why aren't I confident with this ARV? And let me just note something too, guys. Remember when this was all yellow before I added in those extra comps? My other property was solid across the board. Look at this here. Does this look like volume to you? No, that doesn't look like volume. It's such, and this is, we'll have to, excuse the market. I live in Phoenix, guys. Everybody's out here. The biggest investors, the educators. I mean, you have Open Door, OfferPad. You have billions of dollars rushing in from venture capital. And, then you have us mom and pop investors, they've been doing this for, some of the investors out here have been doing this since the 90s, right? So, I've wholesale deals to a lot of these guys. Sean Terry personally, I've bird dogged for him for a while. And some of the events that we did, Cody Sperber would show up, a lot of the educator guys. And then there's just investors that they got pretty big corporations and I just wholesale deals to them or partner up on deals with them. But The reason I bring that up, guys, is there's a huge difference between a Cleveland market to Ohio to an area like Phoenix. So you got to be a little forgiving on that. Spencer, you can probably speak to this. This might be very common in different parts of Cleveland, based on availability of, demographics there. What are the demographics for job availability, colleges, things like that? Are people leaving areas, leaving the whole state, or leaving the city, going to other areas because of work opportunities? So that has an effect on the volume. So if this property did have an ARV of 86,000, yeah, we can offer 53 on a buy and hold. But if I'm going to wholesale it, I would offer 35,000, turn around and sell it for 40. If the ARV is 86, but I'm not confident. I have a yellow here. And the reason I'm stretching this out, guys, is I want you to understand that since most of our, say, formulas are based on the ARV, you have to get the ARV right. And the only way to do that is to find out, well, what properties am I going to choose? So if I come down to values here, I just click this shortcut, I can see that this property here that's a half-mile away does meet the criteria, but it's pretty far. But that lot size is super tiny. It's super small. And, you can see that the price per square foot is more closer to 60,000. So I have two choices here. I could either A, delete the property and find others, or B, I can make a price per square foot adjustment because this is the best it's going to get. And as you can imagine, guys, there's just not enough comps for me to start deleting things out. So I think I'm just going to do an adjustment. In fact, if I look down here, I could delete this 5-bedroom out of there. It's not going to change any of my numbers, but it will definitely change this. It'll delete it out of these sheets. So I'm not about deleting right now. I think what I'm going to do is, due to the lack of comparables volume. By the way, let me state something. That's not a fault of the software, guys. If there's no sales in the neighborhood, there's just no sales in the neighborhood. Move on. If somebody didn't sell a house, you can't complain that there's no comps. So that's not a support ticket, because the Nest gets a lot of those, like, oh, I don't have any comps. Well, that's probably a good sign you should pass. I guarantee you're in a neighborhood that's outside of a major city. Most people live in California or on the East Coast. And then we have big cities like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Tampa, Florida, and Chicago, and the DC area. We've got these pockets of population, right? New York, boroughs. That's it. That's where everybody lives. I'm sure you're in one of those cities. And if you're out in the middle of nowhere, yeah, you can do this business, but it just won't be in the volume you'd expect. You should probably virtual wholesale. Try to be in a city of more than 500,000 people. It's just how this would work. It's a volume business, just like anything is a volume business. So I'm not confident with this ARV, so let's make an adjustment. It's this one that's the culprit. It's close though, and it's a 2-1. So technically I could delete it, and if anything, I think I will, guys, because it's really not fair to compare that. It happened to sell for the most. You're welcome to Google the property. You can right-click, copy, and Google it. I bet this 2-1 here is in very good condition. It's a good size home, decent lot, and it was built around the same time. But I'm just going to remove it. And how do you remove it? You hit delete, boom, and I'm going to recalculate. It's going to bring in another ARV. That guy right there. And you can see now we're at 82% confidence with an ARV of 86. Okay. And even then, let's see the problem here. It's a 3-1, much, much bigger and half the square footage. So again, guys, I have a choice. Should I adjust to price per square foot and just cut to the chase? Or should I continue to try to find properties that I had no control over, of how the local municipality allowed a developer to build a 4-2 or a 3-1 or a 2-2? So I'm just going to adjust for price per square foot, because my homogeny isn't that great. You can see the homogeny is way off here. Look at this, bedrooms off. Look at this, lots, year built's off. And these lots here, a little bit of a difference, but it's still in the hundreds. So I think for that reason, the software's telling me to come up. I'm just going to go to parameters, offers, and I'm actually going to switch it to price per square foot on my offers, and watch what happens. Now the score won't change. I still know it's a poor score, but at least I can see that ARV of 48,000. So Spencer, if you're still listening, you can offer $8,600 on this property. Easy as that, man. Offer $8,600. If you know that that property needs $15,000 in repairs, you can offer $8,600. And if you know that the property needs 0 repairs, So if I just put $1 in here for repairs, you can offer as high as 23,600, 23K. Okay. So depending on the condition of that property, Spencer, thanks for sharing that address. If you guys have another one and you appreciate this, give it a share, give it a like, get other investors to get talking about ARV and what it's all about so that we don't give those things. So thank you, Jonathan, for those Sun Devils. I appreciate that. So the only other thing I wanted to show you guys, again, you can go to the site and just go to REI AutoComp, download it. It's free. Just click on free trial download or click this button here. Get it for free. But I do have a Black Friday to Cyber Monday special this weekend only. So if you want to just buy it, get a lifetime membership, all upgrades for free, have this sheet running on your desktop, the power of the algorithm, right? The power of, 37,000. You saw Redfin, a huge company corporation, believed it was also worth 35, right? I don't know their algorithm. I wrote my own. So that shows you proof in the pudding. But see, Zillow's estimate doesn't show ARV. Redfin algorithm, Trulia, and all these sites don't show ARV. Even my so-called competitors, I don't believe I have any just yet, but my so-called competitors don't show after repair value. And if they do, they're not showing you the comp score. They'll probably, I'm telling you right now, guys, as my competitors finally catch on and come around to it, they'll finally write up their own algorithm and have some comp score, something that's very similar, because it's just what's needed. I'm very confident, by the way, that house is worth 37K without looking at it, right? 37K. I'm 85% sure, give or take 15% up or down. I'm 82% sure that ARV is 48,000. Now, if you can somehow tell me the repair, Spencer, I can clean that up just a little bit, but that's your number, man. So, hey, thank you. Jonathan, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago. Jonathan actually called from the website, and he was like, hey, man, I just had a quick question. So every once in a while, guys, I'll call you. Don't be shy. Reach out. Send a support ticket to Dinesh, dinesh.the reirockstar@gmail.com. Or, just, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. If I'm not working on businesses, I do run 3 companies, guys. I run this company, iWeb. The iWeb company is where I do the education stuff. I don't intend, like I've shared with a lot of you guys over the years, I've had many conversations through my Google Hangouts with just random people across the US and just shared with them the things that I thought would be the best to help them become a better investor. So let me just drop a couple of nuggets. Again, guys, if you appreciate this, thank you so much for joining us. We only got like 5 or 6 people on here. That's okay. Every time I drop these videos, most people are doing other things on the weekends, right? They'll come back in, they'll drop us likes and comments during the week, which I appreciate, and I'll try to get back to every one of you. But let me simplify investing for those who are new. If I was to, and if you have any questions that are just about real estate, guys, put them in there. I do this really. I buy houses, I assign them, I wholesale them, all that good stuff. But if I was, one of the questions I get often is, hey, if I was brand new, what would you recommend that I do? How would I do XYZ? How can I get my check the fastest possible? And I'll tell you exactly how to do that. One of the things I look at when I first got started, I was blessed. I had a mentor. I got mentored by Sean Terry on wholesaling. I had another mentor on my fix and flips. I had a mentor in 2009 actually, which is on my blog, by the way, where I did my first deal on a short sale. And I think that, for me, it was the analysis paralysis. You can go, there's my big head here, my big Irish head. Analysis paralysis was my hardest thing, but I think for most people, it's that getting over that fear of like the unknown of, hey, am I going the right direction? Is this going, if I spend this money on bandit signs, will I make a return? If I do that, if I do X, will I get this? It's that natural human tendency to have what is known as certainty, right? We want certainty in our life. And I'm like that too. Everybody is. Everybody wants some level of certainty. If I go to college and I do this, will I get a good job? So what I would do is I would focus on mimicking and getting a mentor as fast as possible. That's it. There's no silver bullet. If you've been doing this for a while and you haven't had deals, it's usually because one of the cogwheels that should be there is completely not oiled up, and it's stopping you, right? And it's affecting all the other things that are in place, or that cogwheel is completely missing and you don't know what you don't know. So it's a long answer here, guys, but what I'm getting at is a mentor can help you get there much, much faster. I do mentoring, by the way. This is not a pitch for mentoring. I'm just telling you, find one in your local area. Um, but when you come to him or her, try to have the train tracks already led. So one of the things I teach when I start my mentorship, or what I like to call my partnerships, the REI Rockstar partnerships, is I teach having that railroad track already laid. So if you reverse engineer how a deal is done, it's very simple. It's literally like maybe 10 or 12 steps that I can get down to say 5, but generally it's when you're picking up a wire or a check, what are the actions someone took to get that wire or a check? Well, where did you pick up that check? You picked it up at a title company, not just any title company. It was a investor-friendly title company, one that is familiar with wraps and assignments. It's not rocket science. So your first goal would be to go find this title company, which is why on my YouTube channel, guys, I have a video that teaches people how to go out and get a uh, title company that's investor friendly. So if you come here and you type in the REI Rockstar and you go to my YouTube channel, there's plenty of videos that teach you just the basic stuff. I have a subject for everything. I have a subject for everything in the train track that I like to teach. So it's the title company, how to find an investor-friendly title company, right? I have the next step, buyers. The only way you sold a property is somebody bought it from you or you assigned it to them, right? So I have how to find cash buyers. So 3 secret ways to find cash buyers. It's right up on the site. You can go here and watch the vid and take action. It's right here. 3 secret ways to find cash buyers. There's the title company video. So if you just spend a weekend on YouTube, my site alone will teach you exactly how to do it. Not a 3-day boot camp, not $30,000 to one of those education programs. You get all the books and that's really an MLM. I won't name any names, but there's a ton of them out there and it's quite annoying. But you got to just be real with it. And let me finish the track. If you're still listening now, you've been on this call an hour, let me finish it out. And all I ask is that you share it. Give me a like, share it so that others can actually learn the right way. I'm probably in 100, 200 different groups, guys. I don't post in them often. I try to answer a lot of questions. I'm actually in a couple masterminds where people have access to just posting a question. I'll answer it. But another thing that you need besides the title company, if you write this down, besides the buyers, before that, you needed a seller, right? Right. So you needed a seller, and a couple things needed to happen with that seller. You need to know how to negotiate, right? How to talk to sellers. Is that what I mean there? Oh, what's that? There's a video on how to talk to sellers right there. It's a 3-part series, right? And you also needed to get a contract. So I give a free contract on the website. And then how to fill it out. Oh, what's that? There's a video on here on how to joint venture a deal to fill out the contract. And down here, how to fill it out on PDF Escape. Take a step back. Again, beyond that seller, how or why did that seller call you? Well, that seller called you because you did some marketing. So the last couple of videos I'll be putting out here in the coming weeks is marketing, and this is the huge part of it, guys, is you have to market. So let's go back to the original question. If I had to start all over and do it again, I would start with having the train track already spent out, right? So the investor-friendly title company, cash buyers, the sellers coming in, everything ready, or ability to fill out a contract, and then how to talk to sellers. All that's ready to go. And then all I would do is turn the marketing on. And so what I mean by that nowadays is back then I have, and I still do, I'm on the first page of Google. So I'm pretty lucky. I know SEO. I'm really good at it. In fact, I own another company where I actually have a company where I asked Casey, one of my buddies, Casey, I met him online. I built a site for him and he sold his company based on, being able to who knows, maybe I 5X'd or 10X his company. I'm not sure. I've never actually officially asked him, but I know he sold his company based on the work I did for them. And I'm very proud of that work because I get websites on the first page of Google. I'm just good at it. So I would actually do marketing with buying a list. I would do something called lead stacking, list stacking. I would stack that list as much as I could, much as I can afford. High equity, free and clear, divorce, bankruptcy, tax liens, you name it, motivated sellers. I would take that same list, skip trace it, drop an RVM to them. I would also upload it to Facebook, and I would do a Facebook campaign to them. I would send them all to my website, and I would do retargeting to that list as well. And I would make sure that I did my hot zip codes in the area by looking at average price per sales price rather, so that I'm not, mailing out postcards to properties that are $1 or $2 million in Paradise Valley that these people already are rarely in foreclosure anyway, but when they are, they already have a family member who's a realtor, XYZ, an attorney, or they're an attorney themselves. They don't need you. So I would focus under, purchase price 375,000 or less, whatever my county is, and I would find out the highest volume zip codes to save on that marketing spend. And I would send all of that out in the first 2 weeks, and I would be ready because I have that train track laid already. Now those leads come in and I know what to say because I watched a couple training videos, whether mine or someone else's. I know how to fill out the contract. I know how to come out and show them the value of the home because I have REI AutoComp, the analysis. Oh, I almost forgot that. In that train track, you need to know how to analyze a deal, right? So notice, guys, if you're looking at the screen here on my YouTube channel, I have how to analyze my market. REI AutoComp, how to calculate ARV, how to calculate CMV, right? So there's plenty of videos on here that, just are free. Just free, show you exactly what to do, how to do it. So let's see here. It's one more comment. Thanks. Yeah, Spencer, definitely. Oh, you're trying to get that burr on there. Okay. So yeah, the burr strategy would be good, man. If you go download the software, I would run it the same way, and you can do that burr on there and rinse and repeat it. Do a buy and hold, man. I'm going to switch this to buy and hold. If you do your burr at 85 cents on the dollar, which is what I think I'm running it at, yeah, right here. So I'll buy at 85 cents on the dollar. You're probably not going to base it on that ARV either. So notice how this is telling us to buy at 23,000. So let's see here. You're probably going to do it on the current market value. So I would come back in and I would switch if I'm going to do a burr strategy, I would switch that to the CMV. And it's telling me I can offer 26,000. Assuming no repairs, sir. So you need to find out the condition of the home, because if there is, say, 2,500 or 5,000 in repairs, that's going to change your number, guys. So guys, I'm hoping that this has been thorough for you guys. How and why I use this spreadsheet, REI AutoComp. You can get a free copy or do the $67 special deal. I probably only do that like once a year, by the way. I don't think I'll do it anytime soon. Normally, the full price of the software is $297 to get a lifetime membership. So you're getting like 77% off if you go buy it now. And I'll help you set it up. Dinesh or I, you can send us, you can set it all up and run it. But if you have trouble, you can always send a support ticket. He works 3 days a week, and he usually gets back to everybody. So earlier today, I was going into groups and just letting people know, like, hey, go download the sheet. It's easy to use. So if you guys don't have any other properties you'd like me to analyze, I guess I'll just wrap it up here. Just to recap, we analyzed 2 properties, one of my own, as well as somebody here, another investor out in Cleveland, Ohio. We talked a little bit about analysis, how to get the ARV, how to calculate the repairs quickly by using a price per square foot, and basically what to offer on the sheet. So this particular property, again, Spencer, great deal here, man. The ARV is probably close to about 45,000. I'm 82% sure. I honestly wouldn't recommend a fix and flip for this zip code, sir. I've never been out to Cleveland, this part of Cleveland, by the way. Yeah, so I know Cleveland Heights, right, is the place to be. So This is, without ever seeing this, I think this is pretty good, and I hope you would agree, Spencer, right? So I'm trying to show you my skills as an investor, as well as my skills based on using a simple spreadsheet that allows me to quickly figure out the ARV, quickly figure out the CMV, quickly look at the threshold of what I should pay based on, the cheapest selling properties. In fact, I'm actually going to make a change here. I'm going to delete this CMV here. I'm going to use this one. All I did, guys, is delete, and I double clicked on this one, this 33rd Street. And the reason is that I really don't know the condition of the home. So I'm not too sure it's too fair to compare this house to a 16.9 sale. You see that one here? It scored really high with the comp score. But I'll put it down here, this lower scoring one that was a 50,000 sale, and it does help out, that current market value a little bit at the CMV of 40,000. So we can offer as much as 27,000 if you do a buy and hold and burr it. If you're burring it, man, you probably do have repairs. So just get that repair accurate. You just screenshot this, figure out what's good with these three. By the way, as we delete out properties, guys, and we get under 10, you don't always have to use three. Like for example, these three here. This DMV, you can use 2 for the DMV. We've got a 36, a 27, and we have this 16,000. So it's just looking at the 3 cheapest properties. In fact, look at this bad boy right here. This one is a 6-bedroom. So I'm going to delete that one out. This 5-bedroom, I'll delete it off the sheet as well. I'll recalculate it and just get it real solid for you, Spencer. There we go. So you can see it made some adjustments. So imagine that you didn't look at a deal that clearly and you did offer 27. That 24,000 to 27 can make a big difference either in accepting a deal or paying too much for a deal, especially on a burr strategy. So now we can see that the distressed comps sell under 33. The current market value is generally around 37,000, and the general ARV is usually 48,000 in this neighborhood, right? Easy peasy. Based on a price per square foot analysis, you should not pay more than 24,000 if there are 2,500 in repairs. And this is how I look at every sheet. This is how we, look at each strategy and determine what we're going to do on each deal. So thanks again, guys, so much for joining us on this training. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Andrew. Yes, sir. Glad to see you on here. Oh, sorry, you lost connection, Jonathan. Yeah, this has been great, guys. I just honestly, I have a mortgage background. Andrew knows that. At one time, I was, back before I became an investor, around the same year during that appreciation in Phoenix, I became a loan officer around the first time I bought my first property. I lost my first home, my first so-called investment, where I was going to make money, 50,000 riding this appreciation wave. I lost it to foreclosure, gone. So I didn't give up then. And I'm certainly not going to stop investing now because I've learned a lot in these last 10 years and things have changed. People have come into the market, have gone, but I'm just one of those people. I work from home. I send out my marketing each and every month. Digital marketing is available online. I do tons of organic stuff with my blog and things like that. Deals come in, all in Podio, analyze them. I have somebody take down, go out and get contracts. In fact, I have to get back to a fire damage deal that I almost lost yesterday. So I'm going to get going, guys. So thank you for joining us on this training. Do me a favor, share this. This was a very, very complex and detailed training. I'd love to have other investors come out, ask some questions. If you're watching the replay of this, ask a question. Don't put a property in there. I won't be able to do that, but I will go ahead and answer any questions you have about the software or B, about just investing in general. At the end there, I did give some free coaching to everybody who is interested in getting into real estate investing. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Have yourself a blessed Saturday and take care now.